and welcome to another episode of the Dive Into Reiki podcast. Today, I have someone who is from the same continent I grew up, but then moved very, very far away to New Zealand. Her name is Fernanda Feijo. She was born in Brazil. She's a traditional Japanese Reiki master, author, and founder of Reiki Time Academy. And again, as I mentioned, she's now based in New Zealand. She has written a few books like The Power of Reiki and the Feminine, and has trained extensively both in Brazil and internationally, and recently studied with Java, if I'm not wrong, last year. Through her work, Fernanda weaves together Reiki, feminine wisdom, emotional healing, and spiritual growth in a way that feels both grounded and contemporary. Through her school teachings and events, she has supported thousands of women in deepening their connection to Reiki practice and creating more aligned, intentional lives. So, welcome to the podcast, Fernanda. Thank you for
Thank,
making the time.
thank you. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So, I start every interview the same way. What is the first time you came in contact with Reiki, and how did you fall in love with Reiki practice?
Oh wow, that's I always say like actually Reiki found me, and was one of my friends. She was talking about Reiki and massage, and I say like, what is that? I never ever actually heard about Reiki, and that day something just popped up in my eyes, and I said like, I need to see. I need to search for what's that. So I went to internet. It was like 2012 and didn't have actually any information to my like as today. And I started and looking for a course, and after like the next month I went to the course, and it was just something actually changed my life. And I didn't have idea what's Reiki it is,
I
and it
know.
was like this, yeah.
Yeah, 2012, there was some, but there wasn't that much either yet available. Yeah, and not always very reliable.
No, and I didn't actually found a course, it was something like it was just blogs, didn't have like many websites or even like social media, didn't have that. And it was something quite secret, like, oh, it's a Reiki course in this place and that master. And it was like everything quite secret. I don't know. It was quite different than now. And, but it was a great opportunity for me. It was something like it really changed my life, my ways. And that time I was looking for something thing because I went to New Zealand in 2009, and I came back 3 years after 2011. And that time I just started like my graduation, all the things in Brazil, but I didn't actually feel more at home. And I was searching for something to help me to understand, like, and Reiki just came out and said like, wow, that's I need. And I just started to do like Reiki one, and I said to me like, I'm gonna use this thing every day in my life. So I want to see actually what this coming to guide me, and was a life changer.
I love it because a lot of people, like I took Reiki 1, didn't practice every day of my life. I also didn't do the Reiki course, but I wanted it to work without practicing, right? And then I've also known a lot of people who say like, oh, Reiki 1, I love it. I'm going to take Reiki 2, Reiki 3. You actually didn't do any of these things. You say like, I'm going to use it every day of my life, which is a very beautiful thing to say.
Yeah, it was just the time. Like I didn't actually wasn't feeling myself, I was searching for myself actually. And that time Ray came to me and say like, okay, you are the power, like was something like click in my mind, like you are the power, just get it on, and all the answers coming true. And I remember like months later I went to Reiki 2, and I got to like all the symbols and the things, and I get it so more interesting. And I start to say like, I'm gonna test it. I want to testing. I want to see this is a work or not. And but it was something for me, just for me. Like I stay like years, 3 or 4 years, just like using myself for me. And that time I was studying a lot. And so I use for my studies, I use for my daily life, everything, everything. It's just amazing. It's just
Beautiful.
amazing.
And what made you decide, okay, this is it, I'm gonna take a Reiki 3 class and start teaching? And also, who did you train with? That was quite interesting.
Well, my first master was in Brazil, so she's Liane. She's from South Brazil, but it's like a Western lineage. It's coming like from USA and Brazil, and
Yeah.
you know. Um, so that time, I don't know, but that time it just came to me and say like, I'm going to do a level three. And after that, I will see if I'm going to do master or not. So I took like 3 years after to do my master's. And I did that time, but I didn't have actually, I don't want to teach. Like I just want to see more. I was looking for more and more and more answers, but now I can understand because like every course you just get more knowledge, like you're not
Yeah.
going deep. And I always think like I'm going deep and go, no, it's just more and more knowledge on top. And yeah, it was that like I was just searching for like tools for myself. Like it was like this. And after that, when I start like my business, my Reiki business, was after I have my first kid. And that time I just use a lot of Reiki in my life, like in my belly, my baby, like in everything. And I said, and I saw myself like such a different way than the other mamas because
Yeah.
we had here, and the people just ask me like, how you be so calm, how you be so okay. I said, okay, I'm this way. And I start to listen that people and say like, oh, actually I'm using Reiki. So that's maybe why I'm different, like, and these things just come and pop up in my mind and I say like, oh my gosh, actually I have such a amazing knowledge and I need to show you for the world.
And I love because there is one thing we haven't talked about podcast is like being a new mom or a mom and literally like using Reiki to go through especially the first parts of motherhood that are so hard, especially your first kid. So it does work. Now it's proven. So, and
Mhm.
did your kid also like in the belly, did you feel like the kid was like enjoying it? And is that something you still, because they're now what, 6 years old? They're little,
Yes, actually, I did. I used like before I had my kids. When I start to think about to have kids,
yeah.
to have a baby, I just start using my belly, start using my body, just accept the idea, like. And now that time I was like 33 years old, and people just start say like, "You're getting old, you get," like all the pressures, the society, and say, "Okay." We decide and wasn't that fast. So I start to use Reiki for me for calm down, for like stop that think like bad
Relax.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was amazing, amazing, amazing. And when I got pregnant, I knew I was. I took the test and I knew it was because I felt with Reiki. Like I felt different. I couldn't like feel like my little one growing, he's healthy, like it was just amazing. It's something I use for him. Like, yeah, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That is gorgeous. So that also, you wanted to share that experience. So that's why also, because when I saw like Reiki feminine, but it's also not a different style of Reiki, it's just Reiki to promote the feminine. I'm like, I wonder where that came from. And now you're telling us. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's very incredible. So tell us like, so then you started sharing with other moms and you started building your business?
So that moment we went for the COVID pandemic,
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah. And I had my baby was December 2019, and
Oh,
2020 we just shut down all the airports, all the things here in New Zealand. So we stay inside. And that moment, people just start asking me for Reiki in Brazil and my friends around New Zealand. And so like, okay. And something just started like asking me, go on, just put your, like just put your knowledge in the word. And that's something just started inside of me. So, new mom, different country, different language, like everything
Ooh.
was
Yeah.
pandemic hit, my husband was working like 12 hours. It was just me, myself, my baby, and the break. Got me so strong, and came like all the ideas like in my mind, like you should put this, like you should use this in moms and human, especially like when I put my social media, I just put it for like a Reiki for human, and people just get mad. Oh, Reiki don't have this, like this separation. That is no, because it's my history, like it's the thing I
The way
I,
you're
I
sharing.
felt.
Yeah. You're not defining Reiki, you're defining what you're offering as a Reiki practitioner. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I never was like, oh, I have my own Reiki. No, I just use Reiki for these things, like to growing as a woman, to growing as a mom. And that's why I use feminine, like, yeah, I just use like it just bring the power back to us.
And I like also because I talk, and actually it was a beautiful practitioner who created Kali Reiki to address the divine feminine. But that was my question. You created a Reiki mostly for feminine, but she was a very like trained practitioner in Buddhism as well. She's like, it's called feminine, it goes everywhere. It's just to balance the masculine energy. And I think that's because we are almost trained. When I saw like Reiki for the feminine, like what happened with the male? We're unity, right? And no, because it's the way we have to be careful because we become reactionaries. And first of all,
Yeah.
Reiki practice is supposed not to be judging. And I think the interesting thing is, and as you mentioned, and I think it's a great point that it's not that Reiki practice is for divine feminine. That's the way, that's your area of expertise, that's your journey and your experience. And you're sharing, and obviously there are 300 teachers, 300,000, I don't know, there are millions practitioners. Everybody needs to resonate with a side of it. I love to put in martial arts, as people in the podcast, they know, and I'm also very like, take Reiki to everyday life. That's my experience, right? And your experience is not like you're living out the masculine, it's just you're really, as a mom, as a woman, you're sharing Reiki practice and teaching from your experience. And I think actually this is a very beautiful explanation because on the podcast, because I think, yes, sometimes I literally had the reaction, and then it's like I had to check myself, like, why am I reacting like an idiot myself, right? So it's a beautiful way to explain it. And I think it's also a conversation that is very important. Sorry, I'm chatting because I'm getting excited. So then you
Ah,
started
okay.
with the pandemic, building a Reiki business. This Patreon was born in the pandemic, by the way, this podcast. Yeah, a lot of things were born on the pandemic beyond babies. So how did people react to the way you were teaching, and how was that process with very little support to create your own Reiki business?
So that I started was like the idea, wasn't the idea actually. People just start just asking for me because I was doing by myself, and I was
Yeah.
like in my social media, just put it on, and people just got like, "What are you doing?" Like, "How do you do this?" And I was like, "Okay, they don't know like this. They don't do actually like me." So that was like the first thing. And that time I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm here, I'm just by myself, and I have a support as Reiki, like I have this power in me. I know like sometimes I wake up, I'm not really well, but I can put my hands on my heart and I can get it so good, like so I need to share this for the other woman. I need to share this. I need to share for them. They have their own power. They need to wake up that power. And I use Reiki for it, you know. And that's why. So I started to do like my first course, and it was like a tradition one, like a level one. But inside of that, it was just like woman come to me, like and ask me, how can you have your life? How can I manage like your baby with, like your business, and something more bigger and bigger was created after that. And it was just like people coming to me and say that ideas to me. It's just insane. But it was just my daily life. It was just something I put on my daily life. And I was like learning every day with my little one. And I feel like you just mentioned like when we have kids, we don't have idea actually, like we don't have idea what actually to be a mom. So we just born as a mom with that little baby. And I felt like so powerful because like when my baby crying, I couldn't put just rake to get, like to get it relaxing, to get it calm. When they have a like fever, I can use like some different techniques for put the fever down. Everything, like everything for me was easy. And the other moms was just like watching that and they like, how do you do this? How do you do this? How can you actually do this? You're so calm, you're so like connect with your baby. And they say like, I don't know, it's my experience. I just have something I use, it's Reiki. And people just get more curious and curious and curious. And that's why I create my business. And my business today work especially with human. It's just, I mean, like it's feminine is everything, like human or man. But mostly women just come to me and say like, how can I have this light life because we have so much pressure on us, like we always put it on and the others, and we forgot like to look after ourselves.
Yeah.
And now I just feel like we've been changed. We're looking for tools for change. We like for things to get like into our own power. And that's amazing. I'm so exciting. And that's why I did my book. And my book is not like is the power of feminine and Reiki. It's not the power of Reiki and feminine. It's not like different Reiki. It's just how can I use Reiki for my feminine, to empower my feminine, to empower my energy, because I believe we are Reiki, you know,
Yeah.
because we just bring to us like a fast way to understand it. You don't need to be like a monk, don't need to be like a priest, you don't need to be like a, like someone give like years from their lives to actually to enlightenment. No, you just need to know, okay, I am the power and I can get this power every day. Every day I can be the same, every day I can be better, every day I can be happy. So that's great for me.
That's lovely. And I love that fact again, like it's just Reiki, right? If we had to create every time a different school of Reiki for all the benefits of Reiki, we will have infinite schools of Reiki because Reiki is part of everything. So it can be used in many ways. It's just yesterday I was having a discussion with a friend about how we enjoy sharing Reiki with animals, but we could never teach it. Like it's not who we are as teachers. Like it's not like Reiki is not for animals. I could not teach Reiki for animals, even though I love animals and all of that. We're called to teach certain things. So I love that. And I also find very interesting about how we can empower to receive as women, because I think, and that's please, and there are many given men, but in society, traditional, women are trained to give care and men are trained to go out there and hunt. And it's reverse. A lot of women go hunting and men care, and that's okay. A lot of times, both of them go hunting and they're not giving the care as well. So things are changing. But one thing I've noticed is no matter what changes, women are still educated to give. And that means they have a trouble receiving. So even when they have a partner who's caring and gives them, women have a tough time receiving because we feel it's selfish without understanding that receiving is actually gratitude. Like it's almost like if you don't ever receive, there is a little bit of like not so positive. You're not being, like, oh my God, I will never take it. There is something about it that is not healthy, but we've never thought about that. How tell me a little bit how you see that equation.
I mean, it's not, like don't have the balance. We
Yeah.
need a balance. The main thing in our life is balance. Like it's people some say like, oh, feminine is just a woman. No, we have feminine and masculine. You can,
Yeah.
like it's a natural to be balanced. But if you see like for women, it's so hard to stop and have their own times. It's so hard to look after them, especially when you're a mother. Like you give to your kid, you give to your husband, you give for someone, your family, but when actually it's a time to give to you, you will feel shame.
Yeah.
I know because I was there, like I was there. And what I did with Reiki was like I put more energy in my body, for I felt that goodness, like okay, I can feel goodness, I can feel beautiful, I can feel happy. And after that, I think you change your energy, like you just change your energy and get that balance. It's just amazing because you're not changed, you still have like giving, but giving and you look like, okay, but I'm okay. If I'm not okay, I can give you more. You stop, look yourself, you just start to like listen your body, understand your body as well, especially like in our cycles. Sometimes like before your cycles, you need to calm down. This is normal. It's normal. Our body just asking for that. Just stop. Just give your time. And we start doing things, like so that Reiki brings to me, looking for my body, for my cycle, for my energy, for the type of energy my body has as a woman. And it's just amazing. Every time like I discover more things actually, like because you just dive into your body, your soul, who you are, really you are. And this is Reiki. And we can use it different ways as a meditation, as a just like a I like a guided meditation, just going through to your body actually, and look for your heart and look for uterus and look for how your body feels, and just Reiki. It's just Reiki. It's
I,
just
I
amazing.
I love how body embodied your practices, right? Because even though if you think about Reiki, hands-on healing, the hands-on healing is on the body. All the
Mhm.
breathing techniques are with the body. A lot of Reiki practitioners, we love to go into la la land, right? With the guides, and I saw this and I saw that. But in reality, like it's really about mind body together. And I love also like we don't talk about that, even though 90% of practitioners were females, or and I'm talking about females because the biology of a female, at least born females, we know we can identify 300 things, but again, we have cycles of hormones. We have cycle, our body changes way more than a man's or that someone who was born aside male as birth. But and like being in contact with your uterus, which is the hara, right? Is our power center. Is in the same area. It's not something we do. Like sometimes we even forget when we're gonna get our period, and we forget how important that whole chemistry is. Because sometimes we're like, I'm upset, my husband, my partner, my work, and you're just having a really 2 days before your period. And you just
Mhm.
need because and you're overdoing it is instead of resting, eating the right foods. So I love how embodied. Were you always embodied, or did you go through practice more and more into the body? Was something that developed, or you were always a person very aware of your body?
No, I didn't. Actually, was Reiki my my teacher, my best teacher.
I love that.
Like after my son, my oldest son borns, I just say like I born again as a woman. I was 35 years old and 34, yeah, 34. I said like I don't know where I was before. I didn't have the idea about my body. I didn't have idea about my hormones. I didn't have idea about anything, energy, I was just searching for good life, for money, for, like business or career. And after I have my baby, I just discovered like I need to understand myself. I
Yeah.
was looking for the wrong way, like I was looking for spirituality, but to looking for different dimensions, for godness, for no, I need to look myself. I look to look to me and see how perfect I am. And that's I found with Reiki, and it was so good because I was using Reiki in my pregnancy, and I was felt like the baby and everything, and I was like questioning myself and like how my body can do that, how my body can expand my bed, like it's insane. It was like something very insane, and you don't have like a book, like
Yeah.
for look at it. It was just my experience, and how my experience comes to my way to teach Reiki today. And I mean, like, I know I have a lot of things to learn more. We learn every day.
Hopefully you will, because if not, where are you practicing? Yes.
Yes, but like every day for me, it's beautiful because every day I learn something. But I was just looking myself, like I want to expand myself. I want to use the power of my body. I want to use Reiki just to give me the energy for looking inside of me and still growing and create things. So today I look for my business, say like, how can I create things for the people, for the woman to feel better, for them see themselves as me, because before I was like lost, complete lost. And now I can see my future, my kids growing, my family strong, like everything changes. And that's why I want they looking and say like, okay, I can do the same because I'm a human being as you, I'm not different.
And new moms don't have a lot of support. And so tell me a couple of things that you have seen when you teach the community of new moms these kind of tools, or even like young women who are a little bit lost. Because we talk a lot of, some days about Reiki as a spiritual enlightenment, but not that day to day. So I don't know if you can share some stories of some of your students or friends that you've seen also being improved lives, improve with what you teach.
Yes, of course. I have my own story. So my first baby, I was actually working till I have like my the water release actually. And I remember I was so afraid about that. Like I was afraid. And every time people asking me like, how can you gonna have your baby? And say, I'm gonna be at home, but maybe I can go into hospital. I was very unsure, like because I didn't have my mom, I didn't have anyone here. And as someone in different country, I was just lost. So that time I went to the hospital, of course, because I create that. But I was so strong because I knew I have like the Reiki to come with me, like and get me strong. But after my second baby, I did different. I say like I'm gonna create exactly the great birth I'm gonna have with this girl because as I grow, and I'm going to actually change the energy I did in my first one. So I use Reiki every day, and I was doing for the actually the birth time. Like I was using like homestay, the distant Reiki symbol, just send Reiki for that day. And I remember like 2 months before, I had like a dream, and I said to my midwife, I had a dream. I'm gonna have my baby by myself in my living room. And I said to her like everything, and she would just look at me like she's not okay. Maybe she's not okay. I say like, yeah, it would be like this because it was a pandemic. I wasn't I didn't want to go to hospital because my little one
Yeah.
was a year and a half and he couldn't go together. And I said like it would be like this way. And she was looking at me, okay, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm great. And I was great. I was like very, very strong. I was like, I know it's gonna be this way. And I did. Was like perfect. Was like a natural born. Her and me, just us together, was amazing. It's just insane. And I knew it was Reiki. I knew. I knew because I didn't have, I wasn't afraid. I was so strong inside of me as an energy, like, because we need a lot of energy for giving birth. And I was like calm. And I knew because my first one, I didn't have a car. I was so afraid. And that's why I ended the way I ended going to hospital. And that's amazing history. For me, it was just something like a confirm using Reiki every day and send Reiki for one thing, you can complete change. You can complete change. So I have one lady, she came to me and she's like, I'm gonna have twins.
Oh,
Yeah. And it was just a surprise to her. She was trying to have a baby, to have a two babies. And she was from Brazil as well. She lives in New Zealand. Was that thing, oh, I don't have anyone here, so it can be like a different pregnancy. I said, no, you can start to do Reiki now. And that time she was very, she liked Reiki. She knew Reiki from Brazil, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go. So we start to do Reiki every week to her. And what I found, that Reiki for her was very supported. She took like all the stressful out her, like because she didn't have idea like how much it's gonna be to cost, like for two babies. The stressful of like money, the like the her life, we
yeah.
took that and we just put her connected with their babies. Every time we did like her section was like something for nurturing her. I usually just put her belly, like in our hara and heart was like the two main points I use it. Just for what? Just to nurture her, just to give her support. And she forgot all the things around because she was doing like her doctor degree. Oh, it was just like insane. And
Oh,
her
a woman.
life,
Yeah.
yeah, it was like everything together. But I couldn't like see, we took her from this stressful life to a nurturing, feminine, and love connection with her babies and her. And the first, actually, she had a oldest one, and it was quite different. Um, um, oh my gosh, just forgot the word. It was quite hard birth. It was quite hard birth for the first one, and the second one was a cesarean. That's
Oh,
okay
yeah.
because it's normal. Two babies, it's
Yeah.
normal. And say to her like, we're gonna send Reiki for that time. You're gonna have a best doctor, best team, nurses, and everything. You're gonna be okay. And it was okay. It was very good. And I couldn't see in her eyes, like different when she just started to look after her kids and her body and her life as a mom, as a woman, and not just like the stressful money and all the stuffs. And of course, these things coming with her because she just putting her energy out. And she had like a great birth, she had like a great team, she had a lot of gifts from friends from the hospital for support and everything to her. It was just amazing. It was an amazing journey. It
Yeah.
was one of the things I see like, wow, oh my gosh, it's insane.
I love what you're saying, nourishment, support, and connection with the babies, right? Which is really what you need. But also because sometimes your physiology and biology you may have preeclampsia, like we may have some, you're going to have the calmness and the connection and the instinct to know that something is off and get medical care if you need it. And that's the beauty of it. It's like when you talk about connection, you also know when something is off, right? Like, because if everything is good and you're not stressful, your birth already will be better, your health will be better. But also, is that like sometimes how do we survive in today's world with all the crazy news, everything? Like, it's so hard to have kids, right? Like, and even it's so hard to even like wake up as an adult, to be honest, without kids. So we have energy, limited energy, well, unlimited when we are in a Reiki space, but day to day, like if you don't put it where you need to put it, then you're gonna like also it's not gonna fix the stress about money, future, control of the world, peace, but you don't have it for yourself to get strong to actually be there for yourself and the others. So I love, and now I have a question for you since you mentioned hormones. If you
Mhm.
have to give one Reiki tip or one technique or the one thing you do to help when hormones are a little up and down, what will that be? What is your favorite like go-to when you're feeling like you want to go crazy?
Resutirio, do you know that one in
Which
our
one?
bottom island? Resutirio?
Oh yeah, on the belly,
Yeah,
Hesochirio. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And- yeah,
that one. It's amazing. That one for menopause, perimenopause, and it's just your period is just amazing.
perfect. I'll give that tip. They asked me for a tip about Reiki and hormones, and I went into a whole explaining perimenopause and Reiki. But I have never, I've done Hesochirio for digestion and for cramps. So, for those people who are listening and not familiar, it's literally you put one hand on the back and you put usually first a finger in the belly button or whatever you are like opposite for a while, and then you put your whole hands and you keep it almost visualizing like fire going through those hands. So that helps also with balancing hormones. Good to know.
Yes, it's amazing. It's amazing. And it was something like I just found doing myself, trying myself. It's just insane. I use a lot for my kids, for the new moms, especially when they have like teething, like
Yeah.
it gets so fevery and uncomfortable. I use a lot that technique for my kids as well. I actually never use like medication for them, just Reiki. Just Reiki is just insane. And but the hormones I use, I don't have like, like, you can stand 20 minutes. You just need to use till you feel you good. Sometimes you're gonna put like 1 hour, 2 hours, and like, oh my gosh, Fernanda, it's a lot, but it is, like it is. You need to keep them and doing. Sometimes I feel like people don't have the results because they just wanna like 10, 5, 15 minutes, but sometimes you need a lot. I had one experience with my little one. He actually got like my teacup and it was a hot water, and he just threw on his arm here. And that day, I used Reiki for 12 hours.
And that's the way it was done in Japan. That's what
12.
we hear about Hawaii Takata when she went for treatment. She had many practitioners for like whole days on her. So I love that you're mentioning all of these practicing every day. It's not 5 minutes because those are the things that we say we try it, we take a class, we place our hands. Oh, it doesn't work. This is useless, right? Yeah, yeah. For those of you who are listening, Fernanda just literally did a sort of Macarena with the hands position, very fast, but it's true, right? Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, that experience was amazing. Like he didn't have any scar, anything. I have photos of that. It was just insane, like because I think because I have like electric jugs and I think it's 100. I don't know how hot it is, but it's very hot. And I just put it on table and he came out, was like 1 year old, and he just threw. And that day I used for 12 hours, Rick, and he didn't have anything. Anything. It was just amazing. I sent to my mother-in-law, she's a nurse, was a nurse in Brazil, and she's like, no, this is a miracle. This is not true. I say, it's true. Nothing. It was like normal skin, normal skin.
beautiful.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So one other thing I saw on your website, I was, I'm nosy. It was that you launched also a thing about analyzing you were saying like, okay, this is your personality test, but this is more of your feminine energy test, like your emotional profile. Can you tell us a little bit, because I think it's quite recent, so can you tell us a little bit about that and how it could help people who may want to check that out?
Yes, the one thing I've been like learning working with Reiki, we need to understand people. Reiki is a tool. So before we understand people, especially like for me, woman, but we also have different types of energy,
Yeah.
like For me, I have like my energy, it's more like here on my heart. I can feel things here. Some people be like, oh, just like in the plexum, like it's just like, oh my gosh, here. It's just like a stomach ache, or you can feel. Some people be like, oh, my frontal is more like pulsing. I can, feel things, hear things. So that's why I put all my, no, not knowledge, but all my results with my clients in AI, and we did like a kind of map. So you can see actually you have a five different types of energy. Some people can feel more, some people can listen more, some people can different ways. After that, you can actually see how different is your client and just use Reiki in different way to get more results for that type of person. Like you can actually, Fernanda is more emotion. So I need to bring more energy for her and her heart and just get more strength for her. Like she needs to be more strength, she needs to be more here. And after that, she'll be like, okay, I feel okay now.
Yeah.
So this, yeah, it's kind of when you see it's just something new. I'm try as well, and but I can see different results because you need to understand that people who actually you're going to work with,
Yeah.
and we are different. We are different, and we are different the way we understand the energy as well. We feel the energy as well. So when I mention like I can feel more in my heart, but some people just can get it, like it's you're crazy. You say like your heart is pulsing, your heart, but I'm not like this. So we understand people before and after we use Reiki as a tool to give the energy for that people just to understand the way they works.
No, it's good because, as you say, when you are very much in your heart, you need to develop that earth center, that belly, that hara, so people are grounded. And when you're grounded, you feel safe. And then that heart is feels safe, it's very happy and stable, right? If you don't have like the hara built and you're very hard, you're gonna be like in the wind, going over and over, more like the waves, literally the ocean. So it's a great way also to like sometimes, okay, with intuition in time, you can get it. As you say, you've been practicing with thousands of women. You probably don't need that. But for people who are especially starting or when you're starting to understand themselves, these tools can be great. Like, okay, how do I perceive energy? I didn't understand how I perceive energy. Now I understand because I literally switch. I literally can switch the way I perceive energy. And I now like to combine layers, right? Like, and I can play with it, but at the beginning I didn't understand. But being a teacher, we also see people, you give them a reiju and attunement, and some people hear sounds, some people feel warm, some people see colors. Everybody is very different. So it's lovely to have tools to also in a way like legitimize all the different ways. Like there is no way that is better than words because some people is like, I see colors and you don't. It's like it really doesn't matter, right?
It's the same when people have like a clarity. Um,
Yeah, when they're clarividente or
yeah,
clarisente, I don't
and
know the
people
word
just
in English. Yeah.
yeah, and people just say like, "Oh my gosh, I'm special. I'm just, like the one I can see." No, it's normal. Every human being has, but sometimes we can actually know how to do it. And that's why I love Reiki because Reiki is
Yeah.
just something like, okay, now you have the power, not me. I'm not your master, not your teacher. You have your own power. You discover yourself. Just dive into yourself. Just uh, question about yourself. Have so much to learn about you, and he give you the support for you to have these answers in your life. That's it's for me like Reiki.
Self-knowledge. There is a Buddhist philosopher, well, he actually brought in Buddhism, I think, if I'm not wrong, to Japan, but one of them, he said that you have to know the self to forget the self. And I love that. That was Dogen, and he's probably not the one who brought Zen. But I just found it for me that is Reiki. You get to know yourself to realize you're not separate from anything else. And there's really no self. You're like, there's the taste of water, no taste. So that is a beautiful thing, and I love that you got to that. You know, we got through it sometimes through Western Reiki, then we switched to Japanese. But honestly, curiosity about the self and focusing on yourself is like valid for any lineage. So I'm really excited
Yeah.
to find
Should
another,
be.
yeah, another person very curious. I have a couple more questions before we close, and one of them is your most challenging precepts. So obviously they are translated 100 ways. Do not anger, do not worry. Some people say do work hard. Other people say practice diligently or be grateful, be humble. Which is your most challenging precepts? The one that you're like, oh God, I have to practice that again.
I think it's don't worry. I think it's something it's quite hard because we know I had like a lot of examples in my life and always I can do everything I want, but I don't know, it's just something in our society that like we need, like know the way, we need to know the answer, we need to know. It's very different than Japan actually. If you look like in different cultures, our ones is just like something we want control, you know. We don't believe 100%. We also we believe, but sometimes we question about like, and I think it's one thing like it's about society, it's about like where you born, like it's deeper. But I've been work a lot with Reiki, try to see where this came from, and I know all my ancestors and I try to give different way to my kids, you know. I just try to be more open to them and say like, you don't need to worry, you have everything you want. Every day they go into school, I say like, shine like a star, because
Oh,
because if you put a good energy, you're gonna receive. And they answer like, good energy, mom.
oh.
So yeah, so that's I try to change my way, but I confess it's hard. Sometimes be worried for me is just something like I it's triggered, like I change, but I come back again. I change, but oh
I,
wow.
it's a hard one, and I don't know personally any human who doesn't have to fight with that one. You know, like I think probably yes, Thich Nhat Hanh when before he passed, and some people, and I think honestly we have it in us, and we shouldn't feel bad. We just need to be aware, and then okay, I am worried right now. Ooh, let
Mhm.
me breathe. Right? It's a, and you said it. I practice every day, and it's also like, oh, Reiki doesn't work. I'm worried. It's not about that. It's like, okay, I am here with my body. My body is tensing up. Body, we're safe for now, right? How do we work through it? And as you say, something very beautiful. How do we educate the next generation to not be in a state of constant worry? That doesn't mean also being irresponsible, crazy people, completely ungrounded. They're like denial of truth. But to handle worry, like worry when they have to, not to be constant, you know. So I think that is very beautiful. And it starts with our kids, right? So that's beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question, Fernanda. You almost made it through. So
That's
I end every interview with an oops. A lot of people look at Fernanda. You have your beautiful Instagram, a lot of wisdom that you share. And I'll be putting all of that, your YouTube and your Instagram on the notes. And they say, look, and they're hearing like Fernanda, like she's a happy mom, she has 2 kids, she has her business. I'm not like her, but this is a journey, right? You've been practicing for over a decade. So what is the one thing that you say, like, it was, and I'm gonna say quote marks, a mistake or a misunderstanding of Reiki practice that when you realize it actually is a great lesson to teach other people, or that made you grow as a practitioner?
I feel like when I start, um, yeah, I should put more more time on it. Like I knew it was something very good for me. I did every day before I sleep, but in certain way, I didn't put more time, and that's okay. It's our way, like we're looking for something, we get so excited, we go into rate course, we get so exciting, but after 2 or 3 days, we just like, oh, okay, I don't want anymore, or I don't have time. We need to keep it on. If you want to change, we need to change our energy. But for change our energy, it's difficult because you can see like it's many years. I was like, when I started Reiki, I was like 30 years. Yeah. No, no, 27 years or so. Yeah. And I was like carrying all the 20 years on my back, like, and I was looking for something just change like after night, one night. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So we need to keep it on. You need to keep it on. You need to have a more passion about yourself and your dreams. And we need to listen more our heart because I knew that point was something very good for me. But I didn't believe it because I was so busy watching people around me and listening people around me. And yeah, I took a few years to understand the very good way was Reiki, was a live life with Reiki.
Oh, that's a beautiful lesson. And I feel identified because at the beginning, yeah, I think it's funny also what you said, like we have we do Reiki, we have passion for Reiki, but the passion is about self-knowledge and healing. That's Reiki, obviously, is a practice that we're passionate about, but it's really passionate about well-being and our being calm in a beautiful state of luminosity and joy so we can help others. So the passion is about yourself, is self-love, is literally a radical act of self-love. And that makes it easier to practice. Well, or sometimes harder for women, right? Like, and for men too, honestly. We just give our energy and time somewhere else. But I think after those words, many, many people will be inspired to practice every day. So thank you so much, Fernando, for this beautiful interview.
Oh, thanks so much, you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your job. Like you're doing a great job here. And I feel like we need to talk more about Reiki as different ways to use in our society. I feel like the traditional gets more in a box, like people just get like, oh, I'm not interested. Today I can speak for any group, like if you're going to teenagers, I can flip it up and just put in teenager minds, or like kids. uh, uh, my little ones, they are Reiki practice, but I mean, like they don't know actually the tradition, the everything. I just try to say things in a daily life, like say, use your good energy, put your good energy. You are hurt, use your Reiki. If you hurt, like your heart is not really good, just put your hands on, like try to use different ways. And it's amazing to have this place here to talk about this and show you how people just use Reiki around the world. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. And you just finished with something beautiful, right? Reiki babies don't care about lineage. They care about the good heart and feeling good. So that is also a beautiful message. Thank you so much, Fernanda.
Thank you. Thank you.